Harper One and HarperAudio present A Preface to Paradise Lost by C.S. Lewis. Read by John Lee. Dedication to Charles Williams. Dear Williams, when I remember what kindness I received and what pleasure I had in delivering these lectures in the strange and beautiful hillside college at Bangor, I feel almost ungrateful to my Welsh hosts in offering this book, not to them, but to you. Yet I cannot do otherwise. To think of my own lecture is to think of those other lectures at Oxford in which you partly anticipated, partly confirmed, and most of all clarified and matured what I had long been thinking about Milton. The scene was, in a way, medieval, and may prove to have been historic. You were a Vegas, thrown among us by the chance of war. The appropriate beauties of the divinity school provided your background. There we elders heard, among other things, what he had long despaired of hearing, a lecture on Comus, which placed its importance where the poet placed it, and watched the younger, fresher folkers, he or she, who filled the benches, listening first with incredulity, then with toleration, and finally with delight, to something so strange and new in their experience as the praise of chastity. Reviewers, who have not had time to reread Milton, have failed for the most part to digest your criticism of him. But it is a reasonable hope that, of those who heard you in Oxford, many will understand henceforward that when the old poets made some virtue their theme, they were not teaching, but adoring, and that what we take for the didactic is often the enchanted. It gives me a sense of security to remember that, far from loving your work because you are my friend, I first sought your friendship because I loved your books. But for that, I should find it difficult to believe that your short preface to Milton is what it seems to me to be, the recovery of a true critical tradition after more than 100 years of laborious misunderstanding. The ease with which the thing was done would have seemed inconsistent with the weight that had to be lifted. As things are, I feel entitled to trust my own eyes. Apparently, the door of the prison was really unlocked all the time, but it was only you who thought of trying the handle. Now we can all come out. Yours, C.S. Lewis. Innumerabili immortali, disegualmente in lor letizia eguali. Tasso, Gerusalemme liberata, 957. How so many learned heads should, so far, forget their metaphysics and destroy the ladder and scale of creatures. Brown, Religio Medici, 1:30. Chapter 1. Epic Poetry. A perfect judge will read each work of wit with the same spirit that its author writ. Pope. The first qualification for judging any piece of workmanship, from a corkscrew to a cathedral, is to know what it is, what it was intended to do, and how it is meant to be used. After that has been discovered, the temperance reformer may decide that the corkscrew was made for a bad purpose, and the communist may think the same about the cathedral. But such questions come later. The first thing is to understand the object before you. As long as you think the corkscrew is meant for opening tins, or the cathedral for entertaining tourists, you can say nothing to the purpose about them. The first thing the reader needs to know about Paradise Lost is what Milton meant it to be. This need is specially urgent in the present age, because the kind of poem Milton meant to write is unfamiliar to many readers. He is writing epic poetry, which is a species of narrative poetry, and neither the species nor the genus is very well understood at present. The misunderstanding of the genus, narrative poetry, I have learned from looking into used copies of our great
Sample complete. Ready to continue?